Hey guys, welcome back to the Vulcan blog. My name is Sean Hiller. I'm a doctor of physical therapy and a certified strength and conditioning specialist. I have coached the trainers and the coaches for high-level fitness organizations on how to run and how to train running. Are you a runner that is having tremendous knee pain every time you try to run? It's on the front of your knee. You want to try to touch it, and every time you run, it starts being debilitating. This video is for you. We're gonna solve this issue of runner's knee. In fact, I want you to think about a time over the next couple weeks when you're able to go out and run without any pain, without any discomfort. I'm gonna walk you through the top 5 exercises that you can do to stop this knee issue, to start moving on from it. I'm gonna give you sets, I'm gonna give you reps. I'm also gonna give you some other things that we have found to be incredibly beneficial for anyone who's dealing with runner's knee. We're gonna talk about those in the video, and you can take those things, and if you apply them to what we're talking about, it's gonna get you better, faster, and it's going to optimize your running when you get back to it. We're also going to discuss how you can get back into a running plan and how you can do it without dealing with this injury again, how you can PR without getting injured. We're going to talk about all that closer to the end of the video. We're going to cover all the exercises, cover everything that you need to do, and at the very end we're going to talk about how you can start to implement running again and getting back into a training plan. But before we get into that, if you have not already, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and ring that notification bell so you never miss out on an opportunity to enhance what moves you. We're about to go out to the clinic and start getting on these exercises and walking you through how to do them. Before we do, we got to talk about, should you be running right now if the knee is this painful? And the answer is no. You've got to take a little bit, take a week, maybe 2 weeks, depending on how painful this knee is. If you're having severe pain, you might want to take a little bit more time, but we need to get these exercises in a good 4 or 5 days a week to start allowing the body to heal, allowing the body to start going through this rehabilitation process and deload the thing that is causing the issue. So let's go through the exercises, and then as we get a week, maybe 2 weeks out, we can start implementing running again, and we're going to talk about how we do that later on in the video. Okay, for real this time, let's go out to the clinic. Okay guys, the first exercise we're going to get into is banded leg lockouts or banded leg extensions. And what we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to set this up. If you have a trusty squat rack, it's really easy because you can just take it around the squat rack here and just run the loop through, and you're all set up. So you're going to take your leg, you're going to put it in the band, and you want the band to be directly behind the knee. And what we're trying to do here, when we're talking about runner's knee, we're talking about chondromalacia, is the first step in any good rehab programs, we want to get a lot of blood flow to the area. So what we're going to do, you're going to come back, get a ton of tension on this band. You're going to start with your toes up, and then you're going to lean back, lock that band out, and you can see the quad squeeze there. I'm lifting my toes up toward my knee. You're going to hold this for 10 seconds. We're going to do 5 of these with a 10-second lockout, and you're squeezing your quad, you're squeezing your patella, you're lifting your toe up as hard as you can for 10 seconds, and it's better if you're upright like this. And again, what we're trying to do here is we want to get blood flow to the area, flood the area with good synovial fluid and blood. If you don't have a trusty squat rack, like most people don't, you can also use the corner of a door. Just make sure it's a sturdy door, not some flimsy.
Our discussion topic.
But you're gonna take your band, you're gonna have your door here, you're gonna put it around the bottom corner of the door, okay? And then from there, you're just gonna shut it. Now, you don't wanna do this exercise going this way, obviously, because the band's gonna pop off the door, but you can do it coming at almost a perpendicular angle to the door, and you're gonna step back and you go through your same process. If the banded knee extensions are painful, then this is a good scale for that. This is a banded leg lockout, leg extension, banded long arc quad, but we're gonna do it for a little bit more hamstring activation. So what we're gonna do is, you're gonna take your loop band, if you have a loop band, we're gonna loop it around our toes in this position, and from this position, whichever leg we're going after, let's say at the right leg, the left leg is gonna stay down. So in this position, I'm going to lift my right leg, I'm gonna lock it out, the quad is going to burn, it's gonna achieve the same thing as we did over there with the leg lockout. It's gonna get a lot of blood to the knee, and you can see I'm holding this for a while. I want you to go through a 10-second hold, and we're gonna do 10 reps. If you have the time, do it on both legs. Now, you do have to have your knees in a fulcrum position. So right now, my knees are on the direct side of the table. I don't want to be too far out because then it's going to be a lot more hip flexor. We want to keep it on the distal quad. And when you're kicking out like this, the other leg, the other hamstring on my left leg is having to activate as well. So we're getting good distal quad and distal hamstring work. That's why it's beneficial to do these on both sides if you can. The next movement we're gonna go into after we've flooded the knee with blood and started promoting some of those healing hormones and healing process, we're gonna go into a skater lunge negative. So we're here, and we'll do the left leg first, but you can see in this skater position, anytime you hear skater squat or skater lunge, a very heavy knee movement going forward. If you watch the knees over toes guy, he talks about this stuff a lot. The stuff that he's promoting is actually really good, and we like to use it a lot in rehab. But with this beginning stage of rehab, we don't want the knee to go so far over the toe because likely that's gonna hurt right now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna elevate our heel and we're gonna start to go through this lunge, and the knee is gonna come forward somewhat, but it's not extremely forward. So we're not putting a ton of pressure through it, but it's gonna come forward somewhat. When we're in this position, most of our body weight is on our front leg. So we're gonna go down, we're gonna use another 5-second negative, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you can just come back up like normal. If this hurts on the way back up, you can shift back onto your better leg and then come up from there. Okay, so I'm here, we're gonna do that negative, 2, 3, 4, 5, shift, and come back up. We're gonna go through 10 reps of these. And again, we're trying to move the knee through a full range of motion, which when we're running, it only goes through about half this range of motion, but using that full range of motion is gonna get a ton of lubrication to the knee, a ton of blood to the full range of motion of the knee, and should transfer well to when we start running. If the skater squat lunge is too painful for you, you can shift to this scaled movement. We're gonna do a split lunge. So now the toe is not elevated, and we're gonna put the heel down, and that's gonna deload the front of the knee. It's gonna take some of the pressure and the force off the front of the knee. It's gonna allow us to use more of our posterior chain or hamstrings. But same concept, we're gonna go through our negative here, all the way down. You can shift back to your unaffected leg, come back up. I'll switch legs so you can see. Coming down for 5 seconds, get to the bottom, shift to the good leg, and come back up. That shift is gonna help take the pain off. If it's not painful, then feel free to come back up like normal. We want to lock the leg out at the end of this. For you guys who are having painful runner's knee, you can't run without having pain. We haven't really done any of these other exercises that allow us to go through a full range of motion with the knee. We haven't really dove into those more extreme ranges of flexion. We're about to. So you're gonna be in a kneeling position. I like to have my foot elevated and my toes, my foot fully dorsiflexed. We don't want it plantar flexed, we want it dorsiflexed. So you can also get a pad for your knee, but in this position, we're going to sit back our hips on our ankle, and then we're gonna drive right back up with a tempo. It's about a 5-second tempo. You don't wanna be here because you'll take all the load off your knee, and you don't wanna be leaning back too far because that's just weird and it's not gonna feel good. So upright, I like to have our hands here, down for 5, come all the way down, use the full range of motion of the knee, and then back up for 5. Okay guys, the next move we're gonna go to, this is your scale. If you can't do the kneeling lean backs, this is a great scale for it. We gotta have another band here, and it's kind of an awkward setup, so I'm gonna show you the setup for it. You're gonna find a table or just use the ground. I like a table because it's more cushioned, and you're gonna put this band around your ankle. And then from that position, make sure it stays around your distal ankle. We don't want it to roll up. From that position, we are going to go overhead with the band here. So again, we're working a full flexion range of motion in this position. So I'm here, I'm gonna come down and get some tension on the band. I'm going to drive my leg out. And you're gonna get to a point where you almost feel as if the band's gonna slip off your leg. Don't go past this point. From here, really choke up with the band or get a heavier band, and then slowly bring it in for 5 seconds. We're only doing this if the other one was too painful for you to do. So again, come out, and that 5-second negative, you can see my legs shaking because I'm trying to control the eccentric and it's difficult to do. All right guys, the next one we're going to, the third movement is, we've got a lot of blood flow, we've got a lot of great isometric and eccentric work in. Now we're gonna start reprogramming the knee to accept running again. We're gonna go through somewhat of a running motion using the legs. So we're gonna be here, this is a calf pump out. We're gonna do 30 of these. So when you start, your knee should be right over your toe. If you're looking down, you're gonna see your knee lining up with your toe when you do this, but you're here and you're gonna come up and then back down. So we're gonna do this in a rhythmic fashion, much like we will when we run. It's gonna be up, bouncing through this movement, coming up into that calf raise. At the end, you will feel a major quad burn and a major knee burn with this. If you start to have pain above a 3, 4, 5, then we need to take it off. So one of the ways you can scale this down, if you're having too much pain, 3, 4, or 5, again, we want the pain levels with all these exercises to be below a 2 at the least, okay? So you can do an assisted version where you have your hands on something like this, and we're gonna go through that same motion, knees forward, and we're going through the pump outs here, okay? This should really deload the movement. Should take a lot of the pain away because you've just alleviated almost all of your upper body weight. To round off all of this runner's knee rehab well, is we're gonna bring the hamstrings in. We haven't really done that yet, but we need to contract the distal hamstrings to really develop a good roundabout program for the knee overall. So we're gonna take our box, got our box here, we're gonna put it into position, and we're gonna do something called a hamstring cycling. So I like to do this movement because it mimics a good running position, a good running movement. Again, everything we're doing, we're trying to functionally move us back into running without pain. So we want to mimic that movement as much as possible. But you're here, we're going to cycle through what would be a running movement with our off leg and our on leg. So I'm going to bridge up, I'm going to cycle through, come back down, and continue to cycle through. If your box starts to slide down, then that's telling me you're using way too much of your quad. You need to get rid of the quad activation and totally isolate the hamstring. So we're gonna go through 8 of these. Again, if you can, do it on both sides, but it's that cycle up and then come back through. If the hamstring cycling on a box is too painful for you, we can shift to without a box, but it's the same concept. Cycle up and go through that running motion. Okay guys, we've tackled everything that we need to in the clinic. Let's go back into the office and let's talk about how we can take these exercises and apply them to what we're doing to get back to running. If you are all in and you're like, I've got to solve this knee issue, it's killing me, I love running and I can't run right now, then we have a tool that we love to utilize for just about anything, but especially knee issues, is blood flow restriction training. We have another video on BFR, you can check that out if you click the link, and it'll take you to the video, but we talk a ton about how BFR can increase your human growth hormone. It's been shown to decrease the times to build strength by literally 50%, which is amazing. And we see people rehab quicker, and it optimizes their rehab to where they're not only getting back sooner, but they're more complete when they do get back because you just have so much more strength, so much more power. And by the way, it's also an excellent way to aerobically train while you're injured. A lot of our runners are not able to go out and train like they want to, so we have them biking or rowing. You can put the BFR cuffs on, you have this massive aerobic influence with the cuffs on when you're doing something simple like a 25-minute bike. It's just able to take everything to the next level and help you totally rehab this issue, totally come back from the injury and be able to run and do what you want to do afterward. It's just a great tool that we use all the time. We'll put the links in the description for some BFR cuffs that we like, and we'll also put the video below if you want to learn more. Okay, so you've been going through your exercises, you've been working on them day by day. You want to get back into running, you need to get back into running. So how do we do that? That first week after you've implemented these exercises, if the exercises are feeling better, if they're less painful, it's time for you to start hitting the road, the concrete, the track again, whatever you run on. But I want you to keep it very simple, okay? I want you to do 3 runs in that first week, all 1 mile long, okay? Just do a mile run. The first time you do it, take it very, very easy. If your pain level exceeds anything above a 2, and by the way, 2 is simply just discomfort, anything over a 2, I want you to come bring it down. Let's go back to a walk or something like that. If you're able to successfully do that easy mile without much pain, don't push it any further on that first mile. The next time you run, the next day, maybe you run on Monday, maybe we're gonna come out there on a Wednesday and run again. Try to increase your intensity a little bit more. You're still doing a mile. If the pain levels are still low, then that third run, we can push it even more. As long as your pain levels are below a 2, you're in good shape. Okay? But again, there's no point in exceeding a 2 or a 3 right now because you're just gonna restart this whole process and it's gonna force you to do it from the beginning. Continue to do your exercises and then you can progress further. Once you get to a certain point, it's time to add in some things that we're not doing simply. It's time to add in some things like the 10% rule, which we talk about in another video. It's time to take into account your acute chronic workload ratio. We have some templates that we do. You can find your own running coach. You can do this however you want to. We have some templates that we like. I follow the templates. A lot of our clients follow the templates, and it's designed to help you PR your 5K or 10K without injury. So these are some easy things you can follow. It's got all the injury precautions and all the optimized running forms in there. So check those out, put the links in the description for those. But you need to start getting back into a good running program so that you can continue to progress. And if you're following a good running program, it's taking all those injury things into account, so this knee issue should not come back. But it's also good for you to continue doing these exercises if you have progressed these exercises and now you're like, man, my knee feels great. Click the other video that takes you to the more advanced version of this. We call it the annoying runner's knee issue, not the painful runner's knee issue, because they're two totally different ways to rehab it. But click on that other video and start implementing those exercises to take this rehab process even further. If you're tackling all of this and you still want to know what are some of the things you can do to prevent this from happening again, so you don't have to go through runner's knee again, we have another video that you can click on right here that's about the simple things that you can do to change your lifestyle to prevent knee issues from happening and really bulletproof your body from issues like this. We cover everything from your nutrition, your water intake, the shoes that you're running in, the way that your foot is striking the ground. We cover all of those big issue topics, and you can start to change those as well and do these exercises at the same time. So when you're on the back end of this injury, you don't ever have to worry about going back to the front end of it. Guys, that is how to fix this painful runner's knee. If you've done these exercises, you've done them consistently, and your knee is no longer painful, it's only annoying, don't forget to click that other video and it'll take you to the next stage of your rehab so you can continue to work on this and flush it all the way out. Hopefully this helps you. These are tried and true methods we've worked on with a lot of different folks, and they seem to help a ton of people. We wanted to give this to you so you could try it as well. If you've done this and it has helped you, please let us know in the comments. Let us know what you did, what you're running. Are you doing 5Ks? Are you doing marathons? What are you running, and how has this helped you get back to what you're doing? If you have any questions, hit us up in the comments. We'll be hanging out there for a little bit. Well guys, until next time, enhance what moves you.